Hey guys, welcome. I will build my watch list with you again today. So let's get started. Let me drag over my test platform. Again, what I'm looking at, pre-market losers and gainers, NISE and NASDAQ, I will go over them and we will try to find our support and resistance levels. But before that, I want to make sure that you are all listening. The audio is good. You can see my charts. I will share the link just a moment. I forgot to share a link in the chat room. All right, I will also share it on Twitter. Just give me a second. And on Facebook. All right. So just say yes if you can hear me, if you can see my charts. Just type yes. Right, so let's get started. So I found this stock from my FinViscan, HUYA. It's a Chinese stock. It ran from 24 to 28 in 3 days. I will look for a short today if we get a setup intraday. Just a moment. Right. So this is the 1 hour chart. This is the daily. We have resistance at 28.45 and at 29.30. And at 30. So what I want to see is maybe a run up to 28.45 and then a setup to short. We have support at 26.80, 26.50, 26.21. Right. So these are my levels for HUYA. I will add it on watch list. ROKU, it has a lot of range these days, so I will have it on watch. It's gapping down again today. Pre-market low is at 125.50. Pre-market high 131.74. Again, I will wait for a bounce up to 131.74, and there I will look for a short setup. The bounce might come up to 134.75, so I will anticipate that. Right, I will go over my gappers now. PCG is gapping down 6.6%, but the breakdown is not clean. You can see all this previous price action here. So it will be a hard one to trade with all this support. I will have it on watch, but probably I will not trade it. MT, I will just drag it over here so you can see what I'm looking at. These are all ETFs. I don't trade ETFs. I'm moving to Nasdaq losers, OPRA, Opera Limited. It's gapping down 6.4%, but as you can see, it's already on a downtrend from September 5th, 6th. So it's not a gap I want to trade. ROKU, we talked about it. XLNX, I like this gap down 2.9%. XLNX. Pre-market low 99.50, pre-market high 101.46, resistance 102.67, and all the rest levels from previous days. So I will add XLNX. ETF, Netflix. Again, it's already in a downtrend. We want to see a gap that creates panic. So if the stock is already on a downtrend and the gap is down, it does not create any panic. So we cannot take advantage of that. All right, let's move to gainers. CRC. It dropped like crazy yesterday. You can see this drop here from 14 down to, I think, 920s. It dropped like $5 in 2 hours. And a lot of eyes are watching this today. I will be watching it as well. Like with all gaps, I will wait for a bounce. Let's draw our lines. Pre-market low. Actually, this is yesterday's low, 932. Right, I want to see a bounce at 31.41, 14.50. And I want to start a short at this area on a setup. If we get this bounce, HDB, it's gapping up. Let me see if it's tradable. HDB, it's tradable. I like it, but I like it for a short, even if it's a gap up, and I will explain why right away. So the gap up is right here where the 200 and the 50 moving averages meet, right? We are gapping exactly at that spot, actually a bit higher. So most probably the stock will run a bit at the open and then reverse and break down below the 200 moving average. If it found support on the 200 moving average, It could likely go up to the next resistance level, which is up here at 114.74. But I will expect a drop down to 109.23, even at the gap's lows at 108.60. So these are my levels for HDB. It's definitely a stock that I will be watching today for a short. IBN, this is a nice gap, but as you can see, this must be a foreign stock. That's why you can see all these gap ups and downs every day. It must be traded on a different exchange outside of United States. That's why all these gaps. PING, it was an IPO yesterday. It could be a good short today, but I usually don't trade IPOs second days. AZN. The size of the gap is not enough, just 60 cents. I'm not interested. Right, let's move. Oh, I was looking at gainers and I moved to losers. Sorry about that. TMF. I'm moving to Nasdaq gainers. FNSR, this is a nice gap. This is exactly what I'm looking for. FNSR. Let's do our analysis. So the gap is up here. We have a resistance level at 24.53. We broke 24.53 in this pre-market action. That's good. If the stock wants to go higher, and you can see the peak is at 24.80. So I will wait to break 24.80 and maybe reverse and take a short. Or if we get a pullback at around 24, I might take a long position. But I will wait for the right price action setup before I take any trade. I don't just trade levels, but I wait for signals, price action signals. And that's exactly what I teach in my masterclass. I teach 8 different price action signals for you to trade. Right, these are the lines for FNSR. IIVI. This is a nice gap right after it touched the 50 moving average. 126,000 volume pre-market, which is good. Let me see if it's tradable. Yes, it is. Pre-market high, 41. Pre-market low, 38.73. We have a high at 41.78. I'm moving to the daily. We have another high at 43.54 and at 47.53. We have another support level at 38.01, 37.51, 36.59, and 35.94. Any of these levels could act as support. We cannot know which one until after the open. We want to see a certain price action around these levels before we take a trade. And again, you can take both short or long on these gap ups. If it runs up over resistance and then breaks back below resistance, you can take a short towards your next level. So IIVI, OSTK. OSTK is not an easy stock to trade. CY, this is a nice breakout, but only 28,000 volume. It doesn't have range, just 20 cents, so I will pass. AMD, no. Apple, no. All right, that's it. I will move to below $10 gappers. MDR, we saw a huge drop 2 days ago from 6 down to 160s. Certainly a stock that I will be watching. But first I want to see a bounce over 350 before I decide to take a short. Nothing interesting yet. Let me move to Nasdaq gainers. TMCXW, it's a very nice breakout, but just 150 is not tradable. TRNX the same. SCSN. All right, LXRX, I traded it yesterday. I made some money. I was anticipating this pullback and I got it. I will have it on watch today. And the game plan is a run up to 368 or 390 and then a break of yesterday's low at 340s, and we could see 286. This is the plan for LXRX. EROS is not tradable. Right, that's it, guys. This is a watch list. I will share it on Twitter and in the chat room. So I will see you in 20 minutes, right when the market opens. Sorry, if you have any questions, I will just see the chat now. So do you have any questions? I talked about ROKU. You want me to talk about it again? I want to see a pullback to 131.74 or 134.75 before I consider a short position. CARS. What about CARS? I don't see a setup here. You wanted to see a bounce right on the 20 moving average. It's not a setup I trade. Excel NX. What about Excel NX continuation? Okay, the chart is not loading. I talked about Excel NX. Yeah, it's a stock I'm looking to short today. About the VWAP, I used Tef's VWAP on a lower time frame on the 1 minute, and I might use the TC2000 VWAP on a longer time frame. He's pretty well explaining today's strategy right now. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys, and I will see you all in 15 minutes.